Hi, this is Debbie, and I'm recording for my channel, Her Lifestyle at 60. I've had some recent developments in my life, so this channel is going to be around the lifestyle of my diagnosis of breast cancer. I had a mammogram done on September 29th. I'm just going to get into it because I'm just like, right now it is January 27th and time is ticking away. Okay, so I had that mammogram done on September 29th. I guess the office, I don't know what took them so long to reach out to me, but they did get a hold of me and said, I was actually shopping, Christmas shopping at the time, and said that I needed to come in for another mammogram. Well, in the past, I mean, we're talking like 10 years ago, because I haven't had a mammogram for about 10 years, and the only reason why I got it was because I was there anyway to do the DEXA, which I was really interested in, and that's another story in itself. So I decided to get that mammogram done, and I'm glad I did, because I ended up scheduling for another mammogram, and they told me that I needed to wait, and because I might have to have an ultrasound done. And I've had this done in the past. That's why I didn't really think too much of it, because they've said that, oh, we think we saw something. I have very dense breasts, so, you know, we're going to do an ultrasound. So I still really wasn't alarmed or even really gave it a thought. So they came back, and after I did the ultrasound, they said, we want you to stick around. Well, okay. I was kind of a little shocked, I should say. And I think I'm getting this all confused. So much has happened, and but over an expanded period of time, so I'm kind of like, okay, I thought I wrote really good notes, but okay. Anyway, that day that I went in, because they requested, you know, that I go, is the day really that I found out I had cancer. And that was on I think November, give me a second here. Yeah, November 6th. That's, I mean, they did the biopsy. Yeah, I had to stick around for that. They did the biopsy, and they said I needed to talk to the doctor. I'm sorry, I'm not really good at this, but I really need to get some feedback from some women who's had breast cancer and who's had some time under their belt, you know, that, you know, after they removed the cancer, that they're doing well in what they had done. So I know that the doctor is good at her job. So I mean, I just asked, I said, what do you think? She says, yes, it's cancer. So the pathology, that was November 6th, and it, all it really said was BI-RADS 5, which is highly suggestive of malignancy. And the pathology was done November 25th, which gave me more information. I had 4 centimeter, it was located 4 centimeters from the nipple. The length was 1.5 to 2 centimeters, and the diameter was 0.2 centimeters. Okay, so I spoke to the breast surgeon on the 26th of December. See, we got, I think the reason why things have been drawn out is because we not only have the holidays, you know, I had Thanksgiving, I had Christmas, New Year's, and, you know, right now we're experiencing severe cold and snow. So if anybody lives in northwestern Pennsylvania, you know, or things seems like the whole big part of the United States had issues, and thank goodness we did get a lot of snow and the cold, but we didn't get the freezing rain and have ice and all that. But anyways, so in the meantime, before I spoke to my breast surgeon on the 22nd, on the 3rd of December, I got excruciating lower abdominal pain. And with me, that means diverticulitis. I have a diagnosis of diverticulosis. So I called my GI, and they wanted me to have a CT of the abdomen with contrast. So I not only had to drink this nasty drink, but I also had, they shot contrast through my veins. Okay, so I did that, and still not as in bad pain as I was when I first started and got a hold of the doctor, because I was in excruciating pain. I was to meet with my GI specialist on December 16th. So she's from Pittsburgh, and we live about an hour and a half from her office. So we drive down there, and she looked at all the information, and she said that I'm going to put you on a couple of antibiotics. So I'm thinking, well, maybe it's really not worth it, but, you know, because I was starting to feel better. But I had no idea how much better I could feel once those antibiotics I took over a 10-day period, how much better I felt. And so I had to go on a low residue diet and things like that. So by the time I went to see the breast surgeon, the diverticulitis was under control. And I was kind of like nervous about that too, because, you know, you talk about, you know, people get sick, and then they, something else snowballs into something else, and next thing you know, they passed away. And so, anyway, so I spoke with her, and she gave me a lot of information about, you know, what could I expect as far as, you know, if I got a mastectomy, I would probably have surgery and pills. If I had a lumpectomy, if I was a candidate for that, I would have tissue removed, and they would fill in the area where they removed the tissue. So I'd need to see a plastic surgeon for that. And I can have genetic testing done. And that I also needed to see do a breast MRI before I saw her again. So I went ahead and did that. On January 6th, I had my breast MRI done. And I went and saw the surgeon on the 20th of January. And he said, you know, things looked pretty good that, you know, whatever I wanted to do, like, you know, he would go for mastectomy or a lumpectomy. And at the time I was going through the decision of leaning towards a mastectomy because I thought, yeah, I'm a stage 1, I'm sorry. Stage 1, and that's a good place to be. They did genetic testing and everything looked really good there, even though there was cancer on both sides of the family. More so on my dad's side, though. They pretty much, everyone has died of some sort of cancer, you know. So he gave me the information to think about it, and I told him I was leaning toward a mastectomy. So we talked about that, you know, about the expanders and all that stuff. And if you've been through this, you know what I'm talking about. So the MRI of the breast came back. Trying to today is the 27th, so it came back I don't know, somewhere between when I had it done and the 22nd of January, because I ended up having a televisit with the doctor because I was kind of concerned because that MRI came back stating that I had another spot. Now they could say, and they didn't say, that it was suspicious of cancer like they did my first spot. And when I did talk to my breast surgeon, she said that the one they first discovered was a 1.8 centimeter, and then this second spot was 0.4 centimeters, which would give me 2.2 centimeters, which would just take me over the limit for bumping me up to a stage 2. But she said that I would still be a candidate for a lumpectomy. Okay, also, some more information for anybody out there who would kind of like to help me. I was ER and PR positive and HER2 negative. Basically, the ideal thing that would have happened, but didn't, I would have it all in one capsule. It wouldn't have spilled outside the cell, the cancer, but it did. So that's why it's invasive ductal cancer. Okay, I'm looking at my nose. She was very thorough and, you know, giving me pictures and things like that. She also said that some other multidisciplinary doctors that I would need to be getting appointments with, but she states after I'm done with my the removal of the cancer and the pathology report comes back, because that's going to determine, I guess the pathology report's going to determine whether I had the final results for what's really going on inside my breast. Yes, it is my right breast. Now, if I do the lumpectomy, I will have radiation, so I would meet with a radiation oncologist, and they're pretty much saying that you know, once you have a lumpectomy, you're automatically going to be getting radiation. Well, she was saying for me, it would be 5 short treatments. I don't know if that's going to change since I have another spot, and if it is cancerous. So what's got me in a tizzy here is the fact that I have another spot, and now, I mean, all this time's going by. Oh, you're probably thinking about lymph nodes. Lymph nodes so far have not been affected. But I'm sure when she mentioned with removing the cancer, they'll probably do what they call it, a sentinel lymph node biopsy, just to make sure that, you know, my lymph nodes are infected. I know, I got that perplexed look on my face. And anyway, I have other medical issues, thyroid, you know, bowel issues, things like that. So I know everybody's different. Everybody's path is different. And I just really, what I'm asking is, if I have given you enough information and you have gone through a lumpectomy or a mastectomy, did you feel you made the right choice? And especially if you had a lumpectomy, did the cancer come back within a couple years or any time at all? I know they say that with breast cancer, you know, it's kind of like, you're not going to die from it or whatever, but I've had horror stories about that not really being all that true either. I mean, they can just give you information, but I mean, as I've been talking to friends and stuff, people have died of breast cancer, and I don't want to be one of those people. I know as far as having breast cancer, I'm supposed to be having one of the best breast cancers to have, but really, is breast cancer at all, any of them? Because you're still going to have to go through it all. So anyway, look forward to hearing from you guys, and I thank you for listening to the end. Have a good day.